Oh, snap, we're back. Up next, our guest hails from the University of Maryland College Park and has a very unique blend of styles and sounds that make up his catalog of music. Please welcome his Neway. Yeah! So, as I talked about in the intro, you have a very, I guess, eclectic catalog of music, especially on your LP. Talk about the music that you listened to when you were growing up, the music that you listen to now, and how that kind of influences you.
Well, growing up, I listened to a lot of rock music. Particularly, they used to have this, actually, I think they have this Christian music video station. It's called TV Live. And back in middle school, I remember in the morning during advisory, we used to get 30 minutes to do whatever you want on the computer. So people used to check out MTV and all that stuff. And I wasn't too much into secular music, so I just go on this website and look at their videos. And I think a lot of my sound came out of that. And to this day, I do listen to a lot of rock music.
One of the interesting things about your story is, I guess you could say, the test of faith that you went through while you were a senior in high school. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I was raised in a Christian household. My parents are very serious about God. They love the Lord and stuff like that. So I was raised in that environment, and so I did grow up loving God and serving the church and stuff like that. But growing up, and when you go to high school or middle school, you're faced with a lot of different ideas, thoughts, a lot of stuff that challenge your faith. And so around my senior year in high school, I remember it was the first week of senior year, I had been dealing with a lot of doubts and a lot of things concerning the Christian faith, and I had been just trying to hold on to stuff, but it kind of just got too much for me. I remember I was in a state of depression, and I was I had so many questions about God, and at that moment, the God that I knew, the God that I loved, seemed to be just so far away. No matter how much I prayed, no matter how much I read the Word, no matter how much I just tried to connect with Him, He just seemed to not just ignore me. That's how it felt. And so that just made everything terrible for me. And I remember during that time, I had to ask myself a question. I literally had to talk to myself, and I was like, yo, everything you've believed until now, did you really believe it? Was this the faith of your parents that was just passed down to you, or is this something that you truly believe in? So at that moment, I feel like that was a big turning point and a defining moment in my life, because I really had to choose God for myself at that time, because I was given the opportunity. I had the reasons to leave God, to be you know what, I'm done with this. This was probably fake. I don't need to be here. I had that chance to do that, but I was I told myself, I was God, whether I see you or I don't see you, whether I have these questions or I don't have them, whether you show up in my life or you continue to ignore me, so it seems. I was I'm going to just follow you. I'm just going to take what your word says. I'm just going to have faith. That's what faith is. And so I started doing that, and this funny story, I grew up kind of watching VeggieTales also. I love VeggieTales. Oh my goodness. And so weekly, my parents have this Bible study where they pray with a bunch of 4 or 5 families. And so they do it in a different language, I'm from Ethiopia, they do it in this language called Amharic. So most of the kids don't understand Amharic. I kind of do because I'm the oldest one. But so the kids just chill in the basement and just do whatever. So I was with the kids. Most of them are younger than me. And we just put on, we're just watching VeggieTales. It's one episode. It's pretty funny. And we're watching the episode, and at the end of the story, I think it was Larry.
Bizarre.
Okay, there we go. Come on. He said this verse, man. He said, this is the moral of the story. He said, "As for God, His way is perfect, and the word of the Lord is flawless, and He's a shield for all those take refuge in Him." And dude, that verse slapped me in the face. At a moment where I least expected God to talk to me or whatever, do anything, that verse just spoke to my situation. It was yo, as for God, His way is perfect. So everything about the Lord, everything about God is perfect. And the word of the Lord is flawless. So everything that's in His word, every promise that He has made me since I was a kid, all that stuff that I have, all that stuff is flawless. And so all these things were coming to cause me to doubt all these things about God and become fearful. Like at the moment I was probably like 19 or something, 18, 19, something like that. And I was like, oh, so I was asking myself, in these like 2 decades of my life, almost 2 decades of my life, I felt as if I knew more than an infinite God who made the heavens and the earth. I had all these doubts and worries and stuff like that. But the third part of that verse says, and he's a shield for all who take refuge. So God was basically saying, look, just trust me, have faith in me, and just let me become your shield. And that I just took that verse and started meditating on it and just changed my life. And my life now is just so much stronger than it was before that little experience. But that was a turning point in my life.
So what's up next for his Neway? What are you working on now? What projects are you currently into right now?
Well, I used to work as just a solo act, but lately in the past year or so, we've been working on getting a band together. So we actually have a band now called His Neway, and we're actually in the process right now working on we're not sure yet if it's going to be an EP or a full-length album, but by the end of by around the summer we're going to have something done. We're currently working on that right now.
Nice. And where can all of our viewers find you on the web, your website, Facebook, Twitter? Where can they find you?
Okay, so website is hisneway.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's his with a Z, and I'm sure you're going to write something.
Yeah.
And Neway with W, but that's one. And our Facebook is facebook.com/hisneway, twitter.com/hisneway.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome. So up next, we'll have a special performance by His Neway right here on the Joe Flow Show. Yeah! All right. So,
oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
and we're back. Up next to perform one of his favorite songs from the LP Dying Cause, we have His Neway. Clap it up for him. Yeah.
Searching for the light, searching for the truth, and I was walking in this dark room, searching for the light, searching for the truth. You came my way, beautiful Savior. My way, beautiful Savior. Came my way, beautiful Savior. Came my way, beautiful Savior. For a savior to rescue me from fright, and I was longing for peace to be my own. Do you know I needed you, but I've missed you all along. You came my way, beautiful Savior. Came my way. My way, beautiful Savior. Came my way.
Up next, we'll have my final thoughts.